Yo, what is going on, everybody? I am back with another Keeping It Real podcast, and it is your boy, the host, Luke Vaughn. What's going on? How you doing? Drum roll for the entrance. How we doing? It's been a while. It has been a while. What is going on, all my Keeping It Real freaking peoples? I freaking don't know what to call you guys. But if you're watching, thank you so much. First off, just thank you for watching. If you're listening, Spotify, Apple, podcast available there. Website, check out keepingitrealpod.com. I'm going to have merch up literally very soon. I'm actually working on that right now, talking to my guy working on my website. He's literally like changing my website around right now. And we are putting up an e-commerce store so we can put some merchandise up there, get some Keeping It Real shirts, get some Keeping It Real, whatever I can think of, something cool, get some cool graphics, get some cool designs. Maybe get some funny memes out there and really start grinding with this podcast. So if you guys want to drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, the like and the subscribe would literally just make my day and just make me love you so much. So thank you so much. And also, obviously, if you are watching this and you know me and you're supporting me, please drop a like because it does help this video just reach more people. It's just how YouTube works. It is what it is. What can you do? Thank you very much. Also, if you guys want to check out my last podcast, was with my friend Cassie, and she just wrote a book. The book is available on Amazon, so you can go check out what we talked about, how she thought about writing a book, where she got the idea, got the inspiration. I read it. It's awesome. Check it out. But I'm back, man. I shortly talked about it with Cassie that I was planning on driving across the country, and I did. All right, so it has been a while since I recorded my last podcast. I recorded that before I drove across the country, and while I was on the road, I posted one podcast, the one with my boy Marvin, he's a basically a rapper, photographer, and just a photographer in general. So you guys can check out that podcast. It's pretty awesome. He's out there grinding. Check out his Instagram, dude. His photos are awesome. You can even book him if you're in Central Jersey. Hit up my boy Marvin, and he takes quality photos. So check that out. But, yeah, I posted that on the road. I think I was in Utah when I posted that video. And then, yeah, I had the podcast with Cassie saved and recorded, and I just held on to it. And I came back from the road trip, and I was just like, obviously I just drove across the country and kind of thought about life, I guess you could say. And I've just kind of been chilling. Not really. I've been working and at work and working on some photography and working on some different ideas and some different steps in my life, opening up some, like Roth IRAs, opening up, just keep grinding on my financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Dave Ramsey, Baby Steps. It's like, bro, Dave Ramsey, don't listen to Dave Ramsey. You got to use a credit card. I agree. What are you going to do? But let's go. I know people, I might have clickbaited some people. We're 3 minutes in. I got to talk about, they're like, Dave Ramsey, what are you talking about? It's like, bro, we got to figure out what's going on, all right? Because the world, at least America, been flipped upside down right now because there's a crazy case going on, and there's a missing person. There's a missing person. We got to try to find out, maybe find out what happened, okay? Luco, your boy, has gotten some information, and it's actually interesting because it's actually really interesting because I'd like to see when they were in Colorado and Utah because your boy was on the road after their leaving point. They left July 2nd. All right, let's get into it. Let's get right into it. There's a girl, Gabby Petito. She is missing as of right now. I'm recording this. It is Saturday, September 18th, okay? Saturday morning, watching some football. How you doing? College football season. So there's a missing girl, Gabby Petito. She drove across the country with her boyfriend, fiance technically, fiance at the time. And they left from New York on July 2nd. And they were last seen, I don't have my cell phone on me where it's all the information. They were last seen, I believe, the end of August. I believe it was like August 24th or something around there, where they were seen in Yellowstone, I believe, leaving Grand Teton. They were in Grand Teton, which is in Wyoming. Yellowstone, I believe they were in the Wyoming part. And now the girl is missing, and the boyfriend came home to his Florida home because they left from New York. I believe the The girlfriend lives in New York, or her family lives in New York. That's what I'm assuming. And the boyfriend's family lives in Florida. So fiance, right? The boyfriend's family lives in Florida. So he came home with the van that they were driving, which I think is in her name. That's what the story tends to point out, that he drove her van to his house. Who knows how much of it was hers? Who knows how much of this story is true? Because like I listen to the mainstream, just what the TV news will say, and then you actually read articles, and it's like, dude, the TV news is like, come on, guys, like this is horrible journalism. But that's beside the fact. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But so the boyfriend came home and was basically like silent. Was basically didn't say anything, and then the Gabby Petito's mom was like, bro, where's my daughter? Like, he came home with the van. Like, where's my daughter? And I guess like he wasn't answering. He didn't want to answer any questions. She called the police, and as of now, Gabby Petito is still missing. Okay, still missing. Now, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this case, and there's a lot of weird stuff in this case that, let's just say, I don't have a Twitter. I quit Twitter about probably almost 3 years now. 3 years ago. It's so toxic. Everything on, dude, like, you do get some information and some very fast updates. Like, if you're on Twitter, you can get certain updates very quickly. But, dude, most of the information is just like, it's like telephone. It's like really not true information. And people are just upset and yelling at each other and lying. It's like, it's not a good place to get like sources of information. It's really not. It's really not. And other than that, it brings me no joy. So Twitter is just, it's very negative. Twitter brings me, it's like, Jesus, Twitter, relax. But, God, I don't even know where I was going with this. But as of right now, she's missing. Right? She's missing. There's a lot of things, like I was saying, on social media. Everyone is like jumping to conclusions. They're protesting outside of his family's house right now. And as of, I'll give you this, right? You're following me along? As of this morning / last night, they have announced that the boyfriend has left the house, is in hiding, is missing, quote unquote, possibly missing, or just hiding. I don't know if his family knows where he is and is just distraught by the whole situation. Let's just say this: I highly doubt his mother and his father are in part trying to help him murder this young girl that was his fiance. I doubt that's the case. Some of these people start jumping to these crazy, the whole family knows what happened, get them. It's like, gee, okay, hold on. They were a fiance. They're a grown couple. They're driving across the country by themselves. The family's not with them. All right, let's relax. Of course, I think the family is probably staying silent. I think everybody that is involved, police included, know something more than they are saying. That's what I tend to believe at this moment in time. So let's follow the story. Let's backtrack. Whoop. I'd like to know when they reached, because they took I think they just rode that one highway all the way down. I'd have to look at my road atlas, but they basically just took one road all the way across the country. When I drove across the country, I took a different route because I went down to Virginia and Shenandoah, and I have a friend that lives in Tennessee. So I went down to Tennessee, and they did not go down to Tennessee. I believe they were, I don't know exactly. I believe they went through Kentucky, like that part. If they went through Pennsylvania, and then I believe it was probably, now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably some form of West Virginia, maybe even Ohio, but Kentucky, I believe they ended up. And then they went through Kansas. They were in almost central northern Kansas. They went straight through Kansas, that one highway, and then they ended up in Colorado from there. So the highway that they took in Colorado, in my instance, was a little bit farther north, maybe even a few hundred miles farther north than where I entered Colorado. I entered Colorado when I was driving across the country this summer. Only a few weeks ago, they were on the road at the same time as me, which is very, crazy to me. But they were really spending a lot of time out there. But I went through southern Kansas, I guess you could say. I went through southwestern Kansas from the Oklahoma side. I came from south. They were coming up from north. I'll put the map in the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But they went through Colorado there, and then from Colorado, they went to Utah. And this is where things get a little tricky. This is where things get a little tricky. I'll say it again. This is where things get a little tricky. All right, a little fishy out here. Utah. I have a lot of good memories in Utah, but it's getting crazy. It's getting hectic out in Utah. And I guess I must have been gone by the time this was happening. They must have really took their time and slowly got to Utah, because I was already there and back by the time I think they even got to Utah, quite frankly. So that being said, there were two women. I believe they were a lesbian couple. And I don't know. This is where the story gets a little botched, because different stories and different places are kind of sharing different information. I believe they were working at a convenience store, and the couple, so Gabby Petito and her fiance, were arguing and kind of fighting with each other. And I believe the convenience store couple called the police on Gabby Petito and her fiance because they were fighting and being disruptive or something like that. So then I think that's how the story goes, because that's like the newer information that I'm getting. See, it could be wrong though. Like, people might be commenting like, "You don't even know what you're talking about." It's like it's changing all the time, dude. Because when I first read the story, I thought it gets crazy because the couple that called the police on them, apparently at the convenience store, they ended up getting found shot dead camping. I believe they were in Red Rocks campground in Utah. I think I was listening to something about Red Rocks, Utah. I guess that's a national forest, or maybe a campground, or maybe like a small state park or something like that. Not quite sure, but they were camping there, and their bodies were found. And for a while, after Gabby Petito went missing, I think the whole idea was they were in questioning for that murder. Okay, now today, I read this morning that it is believed that they no longer are people of interest in the murder of that couple, the two women that were camping. But it is interesting because I believe those two women called the police on Gabby and her boyfriend or fiance when they were arguing at the convenience store. Okay? And then this is again where the story gets confusing because you hear from multiple sources. I don't know if the cops then pulled them over from the police call of the convenience store, or I also heard, see, this is where it gets botched. Like, it's like telephone. You don't know what's going on. And I also heard people that were driving down the road saw that she was beating up her boyfriend and like hitting him with a phone, trying to crash the van. Right? She was trying to crash the van while he was driving it. Okay? And then the police pulled them over, and then that's where that police dash, the body cam footage comes up where she's crying and he's kind of they're both acting weird, but that's where the body cam footage pulls up. And he's bleeding because she was hitting him and I guess trying to crash the vehicle. But that's where the part of the story gets a little confusing for me personally, because I don't know if the couple, like the lesbian couple that were they working at the convenience store, saw them fighting, called the police followed the van that was described, pulled them over, and they were physically attacking each other basically right before they were pulled over. Is that the story, or did someone else drive by? Did two people call the cops on them? That's where it's starting to get a little like it's getting weird. But that's why, like, social media, it's like, who knows what's going on? We don't even know. You got these people living in, like, across the country, living in New York, like, bro, I know what happened, son. It's like, bro, it's so easy. Bro, it's fucking so obvious. It's like, bro, it's not that. And most people don't even know that they were trying to be questioned for a double homicide. People don't even know that these two girls got killed while they were camping. People don't even know that. So that's a part of the story that I think some people might know if you're really looking into it, but the mainstream media is kind of like not really explaining all that well. And they might not have anything to do. They might have not killed these people. They might have not killed these girls. And there's some people that believe that the boyfriend killed all three of them. He killed all three of them. So then they make their way after that. I believe after they got pulled over, because dude, I probably should have done a little bit more fucking research before I started talking about this. But it's all right. We're gonna wing it. I wish I had my phone on me. But again, like I said, it's all botched up. And I think they got pulled over in Utah. Maybe they got pulled over in Wyoming, but I think they got pulled over in Utah. And then their last known location was in Wyoming. And then it gets weird because I saw this one TikTok, and this girl has talked to the police. It's kind of gotten famous. It's been covered by the news, and I know, fake news, but whatever. This girl came out on TikTok, and she talked to the police, and she said that in Yellowstone, the fiance, the bald guy, Brian, I think his name's Brian, was, I guess, hitchhiking, and they picked him up and gave him a ride just 10 miles down the road to, I guess, like a little town or a place in Yellowstone, I guess it was in the national park. And they said that he offered them $200 for a 10-mile drive down the road, which is really only like 20, 30 minutes in the national park. Sometimes it could be longer, you never know, but usually like it's not that far of a ride, especially if they're going in the same direction. So that's a little suspicious, offering that amount of money. That's quite a lot of money. Like $200 is quite a lot of money for a 10-mile drive that people are going in that direction anyways. And also, like, and then people are, I guess, are questioning the body cam footage. And, like, this is when it's so funny. Everyone and their mom is now a psychiatrist. Oh, like, now you know everything about psychology and the human body and body language and how people react to emotional responses and stuff. Like, oh, now you're an expert? It's like, you're not. It's like you're a third grade teacher just tweeting. It's like, please stop. Please stop. Please get your lessons plans ready. It's Sunday night. You got a big class full of 12 students because COVID is 1-3 ratio online and in person. Come on now. Luke, relax. It's like, all right. Backtracking. So, where are we? So they gave him a ride. So that's weird. And then he came home. I don't know. I guess they gave him a ride to his minivan. But the police, all right, let's talk about the police body cam footage, right? So like I said, everyone thinks they're all psychiatrists and thinks they're an expert. So you're probably not. If you want my honest opinion, I am a average Joe. I am talking about this on a podcast. I obviously explained it enough to the point where you're probably like, this kid doesn't really know what he's talking about. And it's like, that's fine. I know a little bit of nothing, okay? It's what it is. What are you going to do? We're all just freaking humans. I can't help myself. But it is interesting, though. And it is interesting. And for me, I find it, very interesting because I just drove across the country and I was, like, very, close to them to a certain extent at certain points on the trip. So I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool to a certain extent. But it's just so interesting. It's getting crazy. So now this is where we are in the story. The body cam footage, the girl, Gabby, is crying, right? She's crying and she's like kind of having a hysterical breakdown, almost like, I don't want to say a mental breakdown, but she seems emotionally unstable, right? A little bit emotionally unstable. We could probably agree on that. Crying, something hectic probably is going on. She's obviously nervous that she's getting pulled over by the police. I've been pulled over by the police doing nothing wrong and been very nervous. And it is what it is. And the boyfriend looked very nervous when he was talking to the police. And that's not always a good indicator. Like, being nervous, like you're talking to law enforcement, you just kind of got in a fight with your girl. You know that. They might have seen it. You don't know what they saw. You don't really know what they're pulling you. Maybe, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, you might be trying to remember, like, oh, my God, who saw what at the convenience store? Did those people call the cops on us? Do we need to go back and commit revenge on them? Who knows? But in my opinion, I think the boyfriend, we'll use fiance, Brian looked very awkward, awkward's not a good word. He looked kind of creepy. Little creepy. I'll give him that. I'll give the people that because they're really trying to crucify this guy. But he did look extremely creepy talking to the police. He was like laughing, giggling, extremely nervous. It was very, very obvious he was nervous. And again, that's just not a good indicator that someone is a liar or someone is making something up. That's just not the best indicator. But he did, like some of his like laughs and stuff. Like, I don't know. It was kind of creepy. But then she, on the other hand, she's having a hysterical breakdown. And in my opinion, again, I think we're dealing with two. I don't want to be a hater. I think we're dealing with two maybe mentally unstable people that are dating each other. Maybe that's what's going on. I think that's probably the most obvious assumption, maybe. The most obvious assumption of the whole entire incident is it's probably seems like two mentally unstable people traveling across the country together might not be a good idea. So, but I just honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't really believe that cry that she was giving. And I read it. Look up adult abuse syndrome. It's like people that fucking are dealing with abuse, the women, you got to look at the women. It's like, dude, men abuse women for sure. But women also abuse men, okay? And when they got pulled over, the guy was bleeding. She was trying to crash the car. She was beating up her boyfriend that was driving the vehicle. Okay, we don't know what he was doing before. Maybe he was harassing her, threatening to kill her or something. We don't know, but we can't start jumping to these crazy assumptions. It's not really it's really not helping. I'm not saying like we should. I mean, you are innocent until proven guilty. So, like, I do kind of want to say you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it's hard to do that. It's very hard, right? You got a missing girl. You don't know where she is, and you got 2 dead people in Utah. So it's very hard to give somebody the benefit of the doubt in a situation like this. And again, I don't quite believe that these people have nothing to do with the incident that happened to these 2 dead people in Utah. Like, now they said they don't have anything to do with it. We'll see. We will see. It'll probably take months for this case to come through. Depending if they ever find, like, they got to wait till they find Gabby, right? And this is where it starts getting a little interesting, too. This is what I listen to. I listen to a few guys speak about it, and specifically one guy drives across the country. That's like his life. He just drives across the country. He basically lives in Wyoming, right outside of like Yellowstone area and the beautiful mountains. And he just kind of lives in a camper and just drives around, right? Simple lifestyle. And this is where you get a different perspective. This is where you listen to a news reporter that's in New York City reading you off a teleprompter what's happening, and you're in freaking Texas and you think or you're in California and you think you solved the case. It's like, that's probably not what happened. You're probably not going to solve this case from your couch. Hey, it happens. You never know. Social media is a powerful thing. You can find some crazy stuff on the internet and some crazy clues on the internet. You never know. But again, I just think it's like, dude, we're really jumping to conclusions. And I'll give you an example. Before we even keep talking. There is this, and this is where it gets tricky because like you got to question the motive of all of this, right? There was a case I think it was like a year ago, maybe less, where this girl from California wanted to go camping, and she told her boyfriend, "Let's go camping. I want to go camping." Blah 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 blah. Boyfriend's like, "I can't go. I'm working. I'll meet you up at the campsite. Go camping. Start camping. Go hiking. Do what you got to do. I'll meet you up there. Maybe bring some food. Whatever he said, right?" So she goes up camping. And she pops up missing. She's now missing. The whole media and the country thinks the boyfriend is now a killer and a murderer and killed her and dumped her body off somewhere. The same thing. He loses his job. He loses his livelihood. He loses his dignity. And they beat him up in the streets. They beat him in the streets. They do. People beat him in the streets when they see him. 5 months later, the girl comes out of a canyon that they searched multiple times with no scrapes, no bruises, no nothing, not even that emaciated, which means skinny, which would happen if you're lost in the freaking woods for 5 months surviving on moss and water, like she said, okay? And then the doctors and researchers there were like, well, the moss and water is infected, so that's probably not true. I don't think you did that. We searched this canyon. And then it came out that she was basically camping and evading the search and rescue and the police. And she just wanted to do this to jumpstart her social media and create some fame and sell her story. Okay? And no one cared about, she didn't care about the boyfriend. She didn't care about her family. She didn't care about her boyfriend's family. She didn't care about the police. She didn't care about society that was bending over backwards to try to figure out where she was and defending her and attacking her boyfriend. She didn't care about that. And I'm not saying that's what's happening in this case, but that is something you need to take in consideration because dude, human nature, it gets ugly, man. It gets ugly. You could either be a murderer or maybe you could even just be a liar about being murdered. You know, and it's like, that is a reality. That is a reality. So people jump into conclusions. I just think I just don't know. So again, we'll go back to the body cam footage because that's what I'm talking about. It's just so, they're both so weird. Honestly, they're both so weird. It's just like, there was bound for some creepy things to go on between these two. But I mean, who am I? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, dude. It's crazy. And then this is where it gets really tricky and really interesting. And I'll give you this to think about. I was watching this guy talk about it. And like I said, he camps across the country. He lives in basically Wyoming. He's from there. He was talking about that it sounds like the police are not issuing. So the police are involved. And this is also where it gets super complicated. And anyone that has a little idea of what I'm talking about can definitely wrap their head around it. The national parks, the state forest, all of these wildlife refuges, it's dangerous, right? Nature is dangerous, right? And I'm not saying that people believe that there's a fucking like witches and shit out there, and there's magic witchcraft, and there's like crazy aliens out there in these mountains. People genuinely believe it. Like they believe all this crazy stuff happens, and dude, the national parks, this many people go missing each year. Where are they going, bro? They just go missing. It's like, bro, that's how I know you've never been to a national park. Like you're in the middle of fucking nowhere, bro. It's huge. It's dangerous weather. It's dangerous hiking. The biggest mountains in America, some of the biggest terrain and most desolate terrain in America. It's dangerous, and you have thousands of people going there. So you have people that are unprepared, not ready to take on a hike of 100-degree weather or whatever it may be, like 100 degrees in the biggest mountains where there's mountain lions, where there's snakes and crazy stuff out there. Like there's rocks that are falling. There's stuff that is moving. The weather comes and creates a huge, like typhoons and snowstorms happen in Washington very quickly. Like it's very comprehensible that people go missing and end up injured in national parks. It is not surprising to me. Once you start traveling, dude, it is not surprising. Go in the woods in Shenandoah. You go off trail for a little bit, bro. You're in the middle of the fucking woods in a deep, deep forest. It's easy to get lost. Next thing you know, you're unprepared. You're lost. Now you twist your ankle. Now you're fucked, right? So it's like, it's not like, oh, maybe there's aliens out there that are freaking stealing people's souls. It's like, fucking maybe Hillary Clinton is levitating over a huge monolith and zapping fucking lightning bolts at the top of a mountain. Okay, but I don't think so. Mount Olympus. All right, George Bush is cannonballing in freaking Crater Lake. Okay, I don't know if that's true, but all right, let's keep going. But this is where it gets interesting because the search and rescue is like a different part than like the police. Like the police tend usually not to get involved with a missing persons. Like usually it's the park search and rescue, and then you have another department search and rescue, and then you have a wildlife search and rescue, and then you have this like kind of team that comes in and looks for this. Then you have this an investigational team comes in search, and it's very politicized because you don't want to be a national park, and you have to rely on the federal police to find missing people. You can't train and fund your own people that can find people lost in the woods. You need to rely on. So it's very political. So it's like, and then there's like weird borders where different weird locations that, especially dangerous locations, sometimes aren't covered by the national park or the national forest. It's covered by some weird land bureau or the bridge management companies. Dude, they map it out. So like you look up deaths in national parks or deaths in state forests, the numbers are always missing people. The numbers are always lower than the actual number that's out there because different land is like I would say the geography and the actual legalized map is manipulated to help the numbers and help keep the safety and to help market the safety in these national parks and these forests. And if you've been there, I think you know what I'm talking about. And if you have done your research in it, I think you know what I'm talking about. So shout out to you people for knowing what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is where we're going to start. This is where we're just going to put it on. We're just going to put on the old tin. The old tinfoil hat. Because we don't know what happened, but this is where we start throwing out some conspiracies. This is where we start throwing out the ideas, okay? And again, this podcast is technically a comedy podcast, so if you get offended, I'm sorry. It's just we're brainstorming, dude. We're brainstorming, okay? So we got the tinny on, and drop it in the comments. What do you think happened? Do you think they're part of the murder? That's where it gets tricky, because did both of them, did Gabby and her fiance both kill the campers camping in Utah? Because if they both did, then they were complacent and helping each other, and maybe she was helping him because he freaked out and killed her, and you're just protecting your boyfriend, and she's flipping out on the road, punching him in the face. Like, why would you? Well, who knows? I don't know. And the timeline is very confusing. The timeline is a bit confusing. But what we do know is she's still missing. We do know that they tried starting a social media. And we know this, that right now, since she's gone missing, I believe her social media has gained almost 130,000 followers, 150,000 followers on Instagram. And that's sometimes what people just want in life. And I don't know if that's true. She could be a victim. She could be. But this is where I put the tinfoil hat on, because it sounds like the police are not treating it as if she's a dead person. That's what it seems like. And they haven't come straight out and said it, but they're not in a search and rescue. They are more in a manhunt. They think she's hiding out. That's what it tends to look like. That's what it's starting to look like. They do not think she's a dead person. They do not think she's a dead body. I believe her father is out there looking for her, thinking she's probably chopped up and dead and buried somewhere. But I think the police believe that she is hiding. And I just seen a picture on Twitter that someone in Wyoming found this girl that looked very similar. And she looked all distraught. Blonde hair, skinny girl. She looked very distraught. And she went into like a convenience store or something. So she could be on the run. They could have both killed somebody. We don't know. We do not know. As of right now, she's not dead. I mean, it's 1:23. They might have just posted this. I've been recording for 33 minutes. Maybe breaking news is happening. And it's going to be a little goofy when I have to edit this up and post it as quickly as possible so it doesn't look like I freaking missed out on anything. But as of right now, she's not dead. She is missing. And as of right now, we believe, and the boyfriend, this is where it gets crazy. The boyfriend came home, was quiet, pleaded the fifth, which no matter what happened, even if he's innocent, let's be real, you got to plead the fifth. Let's be real, you got to plead the fifth. Okay, you got to plead the fifth because no matter what, they will try to indict you. They will try to indict you. And all these fucking woke liberals talking about, oh, the judicial system's rigged and broken and this, that, and the third. And now they're like, oh, well, you got to speak up for her. It's like, bro, he's saving himself so the broken system that we have doesn't destroy his life if he's innocent or if he has nothing really to do with the murder. Who knows? We don't know. Now we start throwing out the conspiracies. Okay? Oh, again, I have to add, boyfriend is now hiding. The boyfriend is missing / in hiding. Where is he? Where'd he go? Is he in police hiding? Is the police hiding because people are protesting his house? I don't know. Did he go to a national park? Or did he meet up with Gabby in the middle of the woods? And they're going to meet up. Bum, bum, bum. That's where the tinfoil hat comes. Because we don't know. We do not know. There's a few ideas. I think there's a few topics and scenarios we'll run through. We'll run through a few scenarios that are likely to possibly come out to be true and come out to be what actually happened. And honestly, this is one thing that you learn, like the older you get, a little bit more mature you get, deep down inside, not one of us will really know whatever happened to either of them except for them. And that's true. Let's be real. If they're really camping in the middle of the woods and they're talking in the car and this, that, and the third, and no one really knows what happened to each other except for them. Only them, Gabby and her fiance Brian, only they really know what happened to them. And then even that, the human memory is bad. It's not good. It is not. It's been proven. It is not good. It's not the most reliable thing. So you could convince yourself you saw something. You could convince yourself you didn't see something. You could convince yourself that you said something, or you could convince yourself that you didn't say something. Meanwhile, you did say something. You could really convince yourself of these stories and make yourself believe it, and then go on and be like, no, this is what happened. Meanwhile, we don't know. They could have blacked out and fought each other, and he could have pushed her off a cliff. So this is where the scenarios go. I think we got 5 to 6, and now that they said that they don't believe that Gabby and her fiance Brian had anything to do with the murdered couple in Utah, now we have 7. Now we have almost even more options. Because, I mean, if they were really tied up with the murder of these two people, I mean, like, either the boyfriend killed them all. I mean, that's kind of like right in your face, right? Like the boyfriend just killed them all, dumped Gabby's body somewhere, came home, tried to play it off like fucking nothing happened, and just maybe a psychopath. I don't know. All right. So that's one scenario, right? That they actually were involved with the murder of these people, which I tend to kind of think they were. I don't know. Maybe I'm definitely jumping to conclusions. I'm just assuming off of location, I guess. But it would be the interaction. They must have had an interaction, and they found out that they called the police on them. Maybe they looped back around, watched them go camping, and I'm going to blick them up. Boom, killed them, right? We don't know. They were on the road for a long time. We do not know. Okay. Or they have nothing to do with the murder. The boyfriend maybe got in a fight with her and left her there. Left her in the woods, left her in a camping site, left her maybe on a trail, maybe pushed her on a trail. Maybe they slept, they went out camping on a trail, and he woke up and just left her and just drove home and was like, fuck you. I think that's probably the least likely. Maybe he straight up accidentally killed her. Maybe they were hiking and they were pushing and flirting and this, that, and the third. He pushed her or something. She falls off a fucking cliff and dies. What the fuck do you do? Seriously, put yourself kind of in these shoes. Like, what are you going to do? You're almost going to drive the fuck home and be like, oh, nothing happened. I don't fucking know. Did I drive across the country with a girl? I don't know. It's like, well, where's my daughter? It's like, did I go with your daughter? It's like, yeah, you motherfucker. You fucking, where's my daughter? All right. Maybe that happened. And he just can't believe it. Maybe they got in a fight, and he, instead of accidentally killing her, he purposely maybe pushed her off a cliff or drowned her, or I don't know, maybe something like that. Maybe they were arguing and she was hitting him, and maybe he pushed her in, maybe he defended himself and pushed her in a river, or pushed him in a cliff, pushed her off a cliff, and was just like, fuck this bitch, honestly. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Maybe they killed him. She wanted to leave, and he wanted to go home. And she was willing to risk getting stuck in the woods and not getting caught by police, and he's risking getting caught by police. Maybe they both killed him. Oh, dude, who knows? Maybe she tried taking like an insurance claim or some shit. It's like, leave me out here to die and just claim my insurance. Who fucking knows, bro? People be doing some crazy stuff. Maybe this is all fake for social media fame. That's what it's starting to look like. If they have to find, they have to find her dead. If she's not dead, then this is completely made up, in my opinion, and this is probably fake. This is some form of fake. Or maybe she went through a mental episode. Maybe your girlfriend went through a mental episode, is truly like, you think like, oh my God, like this, she's schizophrenic. Like she lost her mind. Like I can't drive home with her. She's punching me on the road. Like she's a crazy person. Maybe she was on medication, she stopped taking it, and now she's crazy. And he's like, what the fuck? And he just left her. And it was like, dude, I can't tell anybody. I just left her. It's like, bro, I'm driving her car. We paid half, but it's in her name. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then it just caught up to him, and he's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Maybe that. Maybe she just lost her mind. I do believe both of them are mentally unstable. I do believe both of them are mentally, like, they're just weird. Anyone who gets into a situation like this is mentally unstable. But, and also, again, I'm not trying to be that guy, but her cry was a typical, and people are saying, like, it's like, her emotion was the way of someone that gets abused. It's like, you are not a psychiatrist. You are commenting that on Twitter and on YouTube. Like, please stop. It's like, Google this. This is exactly how they would react. It's like, dude, come on, man. Like, now you're making assumptions. It's like, yeah, all people from the South are dumb hillbillies. Is that basically what you're saying? It's like, no, that's not true. Okay, so like, stop. Let's not make that assumption. Just because you're crying and making some of these things, it's like, well, that's exactly how an abuser. It's like, no, maybe she's a crazy person, and she seemed very manipulative. That looked like a fake cry to get out of trouble, a fake cry to try to be a nice girl, get out of trouble, and also somewhat mentally unstable. I mean, she just seemed kind of crazy, but it seemed very fake cry. And he seemed just mentally, he just seemed kind of crazy too. He seemed like a crazy person too. So it's a very interesting case. It's just so crazy. That's why I got to put the tinny on. I got to put the freaking tinny on because I don't know. I don't know. Comment below. What do you think? Drop in the comments. What do you think happened? Don't be a hater. Again, this podcast is a comedy podcast. I try to have some real conversations. I try to keep it real, but let's be real. We don't know what happened. Let's be real. We do not know what happened. They drove across the country. There's a dead couple that was in their path that interacted with them. And now the girl is missing. And now the boyfriend's home with the car and the girl is missing. Now the boyfriend is pleading the fifth, okay? And now the boyfriend is hiding. That's what we know. And we also know that they were trying to get social media famous. That's a big thing. That's what she said. I'm trying to get social media famous off of this. It's a huge $1 million business, $100 million business. These travel vlogs, traveling across the world, doing this, that, and the third. This is where I'm at. This is where you eat in Mexico. You want to go to Bali? I'm in Bali. You want to go to Indonesia? I'm in Indonesia. You want to go to Moscow? I'm in Moscow. And we're traveling. And we're blogging. And we're vlogging. Blah. Road trip. Blah, 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 blah. All right? It's very romantic. I drove across the country. It's very romanticized. It's an awesome trip. But there's a lot of red flags. But I just like to see how it plays out. I'd like to see if they find her dead or alive. That's literally the most important thing, I'd say. I mean, obviously. Duh. Fucking idiot. Sorry, guys. No, but seriously, that's the most important thing. If she's dead, how did she die? Was she left in the woods, starved, and died? Did she have a mental episode? Did she kill herself? That would be crazy if they find like her evidence of her, like, she killed herself. Like, that would be crazy, right? That'd be crazy. Or maybe she killed herself and is going to try to blame it on the boyfriend either way. What if that happened? What if she's like, I'll kill myself to fucking... If she was going to crash the car and kill them, what if she just killed herself to blame it on the boyfriend, to ruin his life. Holy fucking shit. I never even thought about that. Holy shit. Bro, people are crazy, bro. People are. And then there's this. We got the tinfoil hat on. What if they were doing witchcraft? Dude, my generation is crazy. My generation is crazy. And it's been going on for thousands of years. You don't know what people are doing. We do not know, okay? Dude, Hillary Clinton's freaking emails were talking about Aleister Crowley and the freaking, and basically paganism and witchcraft. Like, this is not some, oh, I know I got a tinfoil hat on. I know it's a conspiracy. Oh my God. They're freaking chopping up babies and stuff. I know. It sounds crazy, okay? But it's in the literature. It's there. It's fucking there, dude. So you don't know if they were trying to play with the black magic. The black magic with a K. Magic with a K, okay? You don't know what they were doing. You don't know if they hunted and killed these people for some ritual. What if they were doing some witchcraft shit at camping and these fucking people were like, what the fuck? Because apparently there's a part of the story where the girls were camping and they called the cops again on some creepy guy that was messing with them. And then they ended up dying. So I don't know when they called the cops. Did they call the cops twice, this couple? Are they just quick to call the cops? How many times a week are these motherfuckers calling the cops? I don't know. I need the information. Anderson Cooper is holding the information. No, I'm just kidding. Anderson Cooper's not covering this shit. He's lying about the fucking, we blew up some innocent people in Kabul, Afghanistan, and our major general's like, oh, this is a terrible accident. I'm sorry. It's like, you wonder why these people in Middle Eastern countries hate us. Because we blow up innocent people. It's like, oh, sorry, we didn't mean to blow you up. It's like blowing up the World Trade Center. Be like, oh, sorry, America, we didn't fucking see you there. I just tried to fly this plane right there. I didn't even see the buildings. It's like, dude, you wonder why these people hate us. It's fucking, dude, I can't stand this, man. Lukey the Libertarian. Dude, that is the first shirt I'm about to get, bro. Oh my, I gotta fully learn everything about libertarianism so I don't start dying on a stand that I don't want to die on. But I think that would be funny, yo. Keep It Real podcast, Lukey the Libertarian. Because I'm always arguing with my one friend that he's becoming a cop. Shout out to him. But I know. Defund the police, abolish them. Do what you gotta do. But he's fighting crime and stopping criminals from raping and breaking into houses and robbing people. So drunk driving and killing your family. So you gotta get that one off your chest. But I always make fun of him. I'm like, dude, the majority of your arrests are going to be the war on drugs. It's basically just people with a gram of heroin, a gram of crack, a gram of marijuana. It's like, should we really be arresting these people, wasting our tax dollars, filling prisons with people that want to go home and do a line of coke and have sex with their girlfriend? Like, it's like, who really cares? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, don't kill people. And then it gets into the argument, like, now we're going to just leave this freaking, we don't know what happened to these people, right? We really don't know what happened to these people. So I wish her the best. If she actually got killed, it's really honestly, I'll say this. If she actually got killed and they find her body and this guy's a crazy person and like killed her, like, that's really a shame. But like, dude, she seems like a crazy person. What if she, dude, I'm not even trying to, what if she fucking killed herself and is going to blame it on him? That'd be even insaner, honestly. But we don't know. Like, these are all like those are all conspiracies. Let's be real. I like to use the word conspiracy so I don't get yelled at, but those really are. It's like, bro, it's just a conspiracy. No, you're just listening to fake news, bro. No, but seriously, it's interesting. I don't know. It's such a crazy case, but I do find it interesting. What are we gonna do? I could sit here and argue about the war on drugs, which is just annoying in the first place. Like, where was I going with that? We'll just transition into that. We'll finish the podcast off complaining about the war on drugs. Yeah, I just don't know filling prisons with people with like a gram of marijuana. And then like the argument is like, oh, but people that on heroin, they fucking rob stores and kill people. It's like, well, statistically, the majority of people that do violent crime are drunk on alcohol. The majority of people that commit murder are drunk on alcohol. The majority of people that are the victim of murder and are dead were drunk on alcohol. Most violent crimes happen on alcohol. Most violent crimes happen on alcohol. The majority, I believe. I think it's the high majority. I don't want to start throwing out statistics. I wish I printed out my FBI statistics, but I'm almost positive that is the case. And we do not hold alcohol in this stigmatized way. And it's just insane to me, dude. Like, oh, you smoke weed? It's like, bro, you drink Bro, you can go to the store right now, you can spend $10, $15 and buy some cheap shit and die off it. Drink a whole bottle and just die right there in one day, and it's illegal. That's crazy. You can't do that with marijuana. You don't see people smoking weed and robbing stores and killing people and doing shootouts and all this crazy shit. No, dude. A lot of them are drunk on alcohol and other drugs involved as well, but you really got to hold. If you're gonna blame everything on these other drugs, it's like, bro, you got to blame everything. You got to blame everything that happens on alcohol then. And that's where my libertarian side comes out. I just don't think we should be arresting people for a gram of heroin. Like, if a guy wants to go home and do heroin, like, and he comes into work on time, and he does his work. Let's say he has a minimal job. He works at a grocery store. He don't rob from a grocery store. He doesn't steal from a grocery store. He doesn't spend extra 5 minutes on break at a grocery store. He don't go home early. He comes in on extra days. But at 9 p.m. when he gets out, he goes to the plug, cops a little fucking heroin, and shoots up or does some shit. Who am I to say you can't do that, bro? I want to do my own thing. Like, if you're gay, have sex with a dude. Like, I'm not going to force you to have sex with a woman. You can do what you want, brother. It's like, well, why am I going to have to force you to do this? It's like, well, you can't do heroin. It's like, but you're going to go to the bar after. You're going to go to the bar after and fight people with the bar. And freaking you're going to get a DUI on your way home. No one wants to talk about how many fucking goddamn adults have a damn DUI in their life. A lot. A Dewey. A lot. And don't let it be you. They'll fuck you with community service and money. Fucking could kill somebody, dude. You kill yourself. It's a goddamn shame, bro. But we stigmatize all these other drugs. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we should be like, do I think like we should have tents where you let people shoot up heroin? It's like, oh, chill in this tent. We're providing this tent. It's like, bro, like, I don't think so. And this is where my conservative views start to come out a little bit. Like, if we're gonna legalize drugs, legalize them. Right? We can stop the war on drugs. We stop a lot of the crime and violence in South American countries. I'm sure they'll figure something out to make money, more human trafficking, more sex trafficking, more stuff like that, for sure. But I think we can definitely help that problem. But it's just, oh man, I don't know. I was about to drop a gem right there, but I kind of went off track. Dude, it's kind of frustrating. But then this is where my conservative views come out. This is what I was going to say. This is where my conservative views come out. If you're not paying any taxes, if you don't have a job, if you have no income, if you're on welfare or unemployment, you can't legally buy drugs. Right? I know, and then you're restricting freedoms. I know, right? I know. It's a weird subject, right? But like, if you're like, I don't think we like decriminalize them. Okay, decriminalize them. Legalize them so people aren't shooting up with fentanyl-laced heroin, so we know, like, if you're buying heroin, at least, hey, it's heroin, you know what I'm saying? It's not fentanyl. But I guess, like, if you're not providing to society, like, you don't have the right to get high. You want to provide to society and be a good citizen, and, you know, you're not a criminal, you don't have this. Okay, get high. Do what you want to do, man. Just don't drive. Don't be in public harassing people when you're high. And it's fine. That's the same thing with alcohol. Like, if you're drunk at a playground and messing with fucking kids and pushing them around, it's like, yeah, you're going to get arrested, bro. Or pushing people around outside and go to a park and you start messing with people because you're drunk. It's like, yeah, you can't do that either. So it's like the same thing with drugs. Just don't go out in public when you're all fucked up on drugs. I just don't think we should be pulling people over and arresting them and putting them in jail and indicting them for an eighth of heroin, 2 grams of cocaine or crack. Of course, we don't want crackheads lying all over the streets, but I mean, alcohol is legal and you don't have alcoholics lining up on the street. It's only in Los Angeles. It's only in Los Angeles and Vegas and a little bit of Austin, I think's got some shit. New York's up the road. My dad's in New York every day. But again, the majority of people in America are not just bodied on the street. So if you legalize drugs, the majority of Americans are still probably not going to do those drugs. That's kind of my argument. But what are you going to do, man? I'm just a freaking 150-pound tinfoil hat wearing goofball that knows nothing, right? I got no life experience, bro. 21 years old. Hey, but I did drive across the country. Hey-yo. It's pretty lit. So I'm actually about to drop a documentary, so check out my personal vlogs and my videos. I try to make thought-provoking videos. I'm starting to work on like more short films, documentaries, thought-provoking content. Obviously, still trying to have some fun, like workout vlogs and stuff like that, because that's just kind of like a lifestyle, like just working out, running, exercising, eating healthy. Always fun to show that stuff, have fun, show the personality, have some fun with it. But yeah, really grinded with the trying to really grind with some short films, cinematic films, documentary, almost full-length long documentaries. I'm going to try to make a full-length long documentary with this most recent footage that I got driving across the country. Got over 3-4 hours of footage, so you already know what's going on. We out there living life. But, man, I'm very happy to come back with another podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Smash that like button. Drop a comment. If you did not enjoy, I apologize, man. I apologize. I got the tinfoil hat on. Tried to make some people laugh. I tried to make you think. And don't lie. You know this case is getting very complicated. The stories are getting chopped up. You don't know which one's which. I'm trying to cover it as quick as possible. I'm trying to stay on. It's only September 18th. It's all coming into fruition. It all happened on September 11th, basically. That's when the freaking mom, I think, called missing persons. That's when I think it happened. So this is all somewhat recent. I'm going to try to get this posted by Saturday night or Sunday. I got to go to work, actually. Oh, jeez, work. Another day, another dollar. That's what they do. Your boy opened a Roth IRA, investing in his future, making some Bitcoin, about to get some dividend stocks. How you doing? Don't take my financial advice. Don't take my advice. Don't sue me for that. I didn't even tell you to buy anything. But, dude, thank you so much for watching, guys. Check out my other podcast. Check out my other videos. Check out my other vlogs. We lit. We're about to go watch some college football. About to edit this up. And, yeah, stay tuned. More podcasts going to come. I'm actually I'm going to grow some balls, and I'm really going to start networking with some quality people that have a little bit more following than I do. And we're going to try to team up and hopefully have some guys really show me some love, maybe put me on a little bit, get my following up. Shout out to my boy Levi. He was on my podcast before. If you guys want to check out that podcast, check out Levi. If you guys need a website created or website made, he's making my website. He's adding the plugin so I can get it merchandise. I got my Instagram. I got my videos. I got everything on my website. Link is in the description right there, keepingitrealpod.com. So check that out. That's really dope. Shout out to him. If you need if you need a website made, check out that you can check out that podcast, and his website is in that link. So I mean, it's all there. It's all there. Check my last video out with the with Cassie and her new book. Check out that book. And, dude, thank you so much for watching. Check out my Instagram as well. Follow me on Instagram. I think it is the keepingitrealpod.com or keeping it real. The Keeping It Real podcast. That's what it is on Instagram. Links are all in the description right here, so I don't even got to keep blabbling on. Thank you so much for watching. Tinfoil hat. We out. Deuces.